Hello and welcome to this video where we are going to be learning about herd immunity. Disease spread occurs when some proportion of a population is susceptible to the disease. Herd immunity occurs when a significant portion of a population becomes immune to an infectious disease and the risk of spread from person to person decreases. Those who are not immune are indirectly protected because ongoing disease spread is very small. How is herd immunity achieved? The proportion of a population who must be immune to achieve herd immunity varies by disease. To develop herd immunity against a highly contagious disease, about 70% to 90% of a population needs to be immune. This is believed to be the threshold for herd immunity. However, depending on the severity of infection, the herd immunity threshold can be as low as 40%. There are two ways to develop herd immunity: vaccination and previous infection. 1. Vaccination. Vaccination is the best way to develop herd immunity as it can break the chain of infection. The level of herd immunity-based indirect protection is directly proportional to the number of vaccinated people within a community. In this way, it is possible to protect individuals who cannot be vaccinated, such as newborns and pregnant women. However, the indirect protection achieved through vaccine-based herd immunity can vary from one geographic location to another as it depends on geographically variable factors such as vaccine efficacy and coverage. 2. Previous infection. Another way of developing herd immunity is having a previous infection. In this case, herd immunity can be achieved when a large portion of a population has been infected with and recovered from a contagious disease and subsequently has developed antibodies against the disease-causing pathogen. For instance, people who recovered from the deadly influenza pandemic in 1918 eventually became resistant to the H1N1 influenza A virus. However, the development of herd immunity through community infection can be risky if the antibodies developed against a pathogen fail to provide long-term protection. For example, studies have found that people who are previously infected with common coronaviruses can be reinfected with the same viruses after months or years. In the case of COVID-19, recent studies suggest previous infection with novel coronavirus protects a person from future infection for only a limited time of around 5 months. How is herd immunity measured? Herd immunity can be measured by 1. Indirectly from the age distribution and incidence pattern of the disease if it is clinically distinct and reasonably common. This is an insensitive and inadequate method for infections that manifest subclinically. 1. Directly from assessments of immunity in defined population groups by antibody surveys, seroepidemiology, or skin tests. These may show immunity gaps and provide an early warning of susceptibility in the population. Although it may be difficult to interpret the data in absolute terms of immunity and susceptibility, the observations can be standardized to reveal trends and differences between various defined population groups in place and time. The decision whether to introduce herd immunity artificially by immunization against a particular disease will depend on several epidemiological principles. The disease must carry a substantial risk. The risk of contracting the disease must be considerable. The vaccine must be effective. The vaccine must be safe. The effectiveness and safety of immunization programs are monitored by observing the expected and actual effects of such programs on disease transmission patterns in the community by appropriate epidemiological techniques. Limitation of herd immunity? One of the drawbacks of herd immunity is that people who have the same beliefs about vaccinations frequently live in the same neighborhood, go to the same school, or attend the same religious services, so there could be potentially large groups of unvaccinated people close together. Once the percentage of vaccinated individuals in a population drops below the herd immunity threshold, an exposure to a contagious disease could spread very quickly throughout the community. In summary, herd immunity occurs when a significant portion of a population becomes immune to an infectious disease and the risk of spread from person to person decreases. To develop herd immunity against a highly contagious disease, about 70% to 90% of a population needs to be immune. There are two ways to develop herd immunity: by vaccination and recovery from previous infection. Before we go, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe, please do so for more public health contents like this.